Hello and welcome. Tonight, gunmen abduct an unspecified number of students during a raid on a private school in Papiri, Niger State. Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State asks military authorities to probe withdrawal of soldiers from Maga prior to the abduction of 24 schoolgirls. Federal government orders closure of 41 federal unity colleges over security concerns. And President Vladimir Putin supports a U.S. peace plan for Ukraine, while President Volodymyr Zelensky says the nation is facing one of its most difficult moments.
On business news, CBN injects $50 million into the foreign exchange market to stabilize Naira amid rising dollar pressure.
And on sports news tonight, Rivers United kick off CAF Champions League group campaign against reigning champions Pyramids of Cairo, Egypt on Saturday.
And from the nation's capital, Vice President Kashim Shettima to represent President Bola Tinubu at G20 Leaders Summit in South Africa.
We begin tonight with yet another troubling security situation as the police in Niger State has confirmed the abduction of an unspecified number of school children and staff by gunmen in Papiri community in Aguara local government area of the state. The abduction took place in the Catholic Missionary School, St. Mary's Primary and Secondary School in Papiri. Eyewitnesses say the number of those abducted could exceed 100, explaining that the gunmen stormed the school at about 4 a.m. on motorcycles and a van.
Papiri Community, a town in Aguara local government area of Niger State, is the scene of the latest attack in a series of abductions involving school children in Nigeria. The local government borders Kebbi State, where 25 students were recently abducted. According to eyewitnesses, the gunmen stormed St. Mary's Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, in the early hours of Friday and carted away students and teachers in the school. Some residents also give account of what happened. A statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Abubakar Usman, states that the government had directed the suspension of all construction activities and the temporary closure of boarding schools within the affected areas as a proactive safety measure, following credible intelligence indicating elevated security threats across parts of Niger North Senatorial District. According to the statement, this unfortunate incident comes in spite of prior intelligence report obtained by the government indicating an increased threat level in of the people. It urges the public to remain and cooperate with security agencies by providing any useful information that may aid ongoing efforts to rescue the school children. Also confirming the incident, the police in the state, in a statement signed by its public relations officer, Mr. Wasiu Abiodun, says rescue operations have been deployed and investigations are ongoing into the matter. On its part, the Catholic Diocese of Kontagora, under which jurisdiction the school operates, has called for calm, promising to collaborate with security agencies for the safe release of the abductees. As of the time of reporting, the school is already being evacuated as the remaining staff and students are seen packing their belongings to safety.
The Minister of State for Defense, Mr. Bello Matawalle, has assured the Kebbi State government that investigations are ongoing to determine the reason behind the withdrawal of soldiers prior to the abduction of students of government's Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga in Danko Wasagu local government area of Kebbi State. The minister gave the assurance during a courtesy visit to Governor Nasir Idris at the government house in Birnin Kebbi.
The Minister of State for Defense, Mr. Bello Matawalle, is in Kebbi State on the directive of President Bola Tinubu. On arrival at the Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport, Birnin Kebbi, he is received with a parade of honor. He later proceeded to the government house to brief the state government on the purpose of his visits. In his remarks, Governor Nasser Idris called on the minister to investigate the lapses by security agencies which led to the abduction of the MAGA schoolgirls.
Whether we like it or not, federal government cannot do it alone. State has to participate. And that is what we have been doing to our security agencies. When we came, we prioritized security. As I'm talking to you now, the Kebbi State government purchased almost 100 Toyota Hilux, and we distribute them to our various security agencies, including vigilantes. Up to now, we as leaders in Kebbi State, we couldn't understand why that withdrawal. At that material time, when an intel was being gotten that there is likely.
Responding, the minister disclosed that the soldiers involved had already been transferred to Abuja for questioning. He assured that anyone found culpable would be sanctioned in line with military law.
The intelligence we have at hand.
Mr. Matawale also assured the governor that the federal government has mobilized all necessary resources for the rescue of the abducted girls.
The intelligence we have at hand shows that we are almost close to those children, inshallah. Currently, we have deployed a lot of security agencies to cover off and block most of the route within Kebbi and Zamfara State and neighboring Niger State. Therefore, Your Excellency, we need the cooperation of the communities and the people of Kebbi State. We are here to support you, Your Excellency, and to work closely with your government and the people of Kebbi State.
The minister's visit is expected to strengthen ongoing efforts to ensure the safe rescue of the abducted schoolgirls.
And as a result of the rising insecurity in some parts of the country, the federal government has ordered the immediate closure of 41 federal unity colleges. In a circular addressed to all principals of the affected colleges and signed by the Director, Senior Secondary Education, Mrs. Binta Abdul Kadir, on behalf of the Minister of Education, principals of these affected colleges are to ensure strict compliance. The 41 unity colleges are located in Abuja, Kaduna, Niger, Sokoto, Adamawa, Kwara, Kogi, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Katsina, Yobe, Bauchi, Zamfara, and Kebbi states. Away from security matters now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is asking independent broadcasters to collectively raise their voices to denounce misleading narratives in Nigeria. He was speaking at the 2025 Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria. Mr. Idris, who says the future of Nigeria lies in media professionalism, innovation and partnership, pledged the support of the federal government in technological advancements and digital safety across the broadcast ecosystem.
It's the 2025 Annual General Meeting of the Independent Broadcasting Association of Nigeria, IBAN, a gathering that brings together independent and private broadcasting organizations in the country, including regulators and industry partners. The meeting, with the theme Broadcasting for Information Sovereignty, National Cohesion and Digital Security, focuses on the future of broadcasting, regulation and local content development. Conversations begin with a call to members to unite in unlocking the multi-trillion naira potential of the industry, the advertising challenges faced by members with corporate Nigeria, and the need to join forces with the federal government to tackle disinformation.
Must harness the 65% share of Nigeria's media market portfolio to employ greater proportion of media talents across all fields of the sector, and to unlock our potential of $25 billion media economy. We are also witnesses to the harmful marginalization of national broadcasters by the indigenous blue chip companies in preference of international TV stations in their advert choices. This inexplicable imbalance that must be confronted head-on sees these manufacturing and banking big brands raking profits from the Nigerian consumers.
Broadcasting cannot be neutral. Every prime-time bulletin, every talk show, every breaking news banner is an opportunity for a powerful intervention. We must be able to tell the truth, including uncomfortable truths, without fear.
Lending his voice to the conversation, the chairman of IBAN Boards of Trustees, Dr. John Momo, who is represented at the event by the general manager, Mr. Kingsley Uranta, delivered a compelling speech emphasizing the need for national cohesion at this time in Nigeria.
Broadcasting is one of the few forces powerful enough to build understanding and inspire hope, especially in challenging times like this. Whoever controls the story controls the perception and ultimately the future. For us in Nigeria, that means ensuring that stories are told by us. We must display the highest level of responsible journalism, broadcasting, where truth, facts, fairness, balance are uncompromised.
In his keynote address, the Minister of Information and National Orientation urged the industry leaders to help the world see Nigeria as it truly is and not through the lens of external agendas.
We must also address an emerging and troubling trend, which is the attempt by some international actors and interest groups to label Nigeria as a country of religious intolerance. Let me be very clear about this. This narrative is false, it is divisive, and it is built on misinformation. We must deny this narrative the oxygen that it requires for it to sow this seed of disunity amongst Nigerians.
Done with speeches, the minister then confers a posthumous award on a pioneer independent broadcaster in Nigeria, Chief Raymond Dokwesi, for his exemplary service and contribution to the Nigerian broadcast industry. IBAN is promising that this year's conference will spark renewed collaboration and progress, not just for the broadcast industry, but for Nigeria in general. From Abuja, Victoria Longjohn, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Vice President Kashim Shettima will represent President Bola Tinubu at the G20 Leaders Summit in South Africa. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Gunmen abduct an unspecified number of students during a raid on a private school in Papiri, Niger State. Governor Nasiru Idris in Kebbi State has asked military authorities to probe the withdrawal of soldiers from MAGA prior to the abduction of 24 schoolgirls. Federal government orders closure of 41 federal unity colleges over security concerns. And President Vladimir Putin supports the U.S. peace plan for Ukraine, while President Volodymyr Zelensky says the nation is facing one of its most difficult moments. Reactions are still trailing President Donald Trump's threat to deploy U.S. military to address the killings in Nigeria. And the latest is coming from Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who describes the plan as a mad agenda. Professor Soyinka, who admits there is nothing wrong asking or receiving help in any form, expresses concern that the U.S. president appears to have a mindset already on the situation in Nigeria without bothering to find out the complexities in the country. The Nobel laureate was speaking after a meeting with Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia in Makurdi.
You don't just open your mouth and say, I'm coming to help you, whether you like it or not. And I'm coming with violence from outside, with poor, almost non-existent analysis of the complexities of where the problem is. And you say, I'm coming to help you, and I'm coming with guns a-blazing. And when we come in, it's going to be fast, vicious, and sweet. Now, is that the language of somebody whose head is correct? So, what else do you want me to say? Any government has an obligation to protect, to ensure the welfare of his or her citizens. There's no question about that. But at least have some respect for victims and those who are trying to find solution for the unacceptable situation.
And Governor Alia, on his part, used the occasion to clarify his stand on issues of land grabbing and killings in Benue State.
I still remain very firm that we have bandits, we have terrorists who come fully organized and destroy people, maim, kill. And the last time we had checked, as I've been consistently again, as I've been religiously stating and emphasizing, that their aim is to land grab. We do a lot of harms in here. So then it all started, with farmer-herder conflict, and then before it graduated into this banditry. The fact is, when the bandits and the terrorists came, it never began with anything religion. And so that wasn't the content at all they brought into beer here. So they just came to disturb our lives, to drive people away from their farms, and then to land grab.
Tackling the rising cost of equipment and the challenge of retaining skilled professionals in the radiography field is important for the healthcare sector. And that's the view of the lead speaker, Professor Felix Erondu, at the 57th Scientific Conference of the Association of Radiographers of Nigeria, which held in Lagos. 3 eminent Nigerians were also inducted as patrons of the association at that event.
Radiography, the heartbeat of modern diagnostics, is often described as the silent engine driving today's medical breakthroughs. To advance this vital practice, experts from every corner of the country have converged in Lagos for the 57th Scientific Conference of the Association of Radiographers of Nigeria. For the keynote speaker, one challenge towers above many: the sky-high cost of importing radiography equipment, a burden he says directly affects the quality of care patients receive.
For instance, an MRI machine, 1.5% MRI machine, is about $1.2 million. And you pay 7.5% on that. And then you bring it to Naira and Kobo. You're looking at billions of Naira, and patients are expected to pay 70,000 to 80,000 per million MRI scan. It probably takes about 50 years for you to have a return on your investment.
Professor Erondu also draws attention to a second dilemma: the tides of migration and reverse migration, both of which continue to reshape the profession's workforce.
For people to be comfortable working with you, they should not miss too much what they can get elsewhere. So to do that means you have to have capacity building. First, building capacity within the system.
While the exodus of trained personnel has thinned the radiographer to patient ratio nationwide, the Lagos State government insists it is ramping up efforts to improve welfare and retain skilled practitioners.
I commit as your governor to standing with the radiography profession championing better working conditions and supporting initiatives that will elevate medical imaging services to world-class standards.
Two long-standing supporters of the association believe even more can be done. They call for sustained government backing and hint that a state-of-the-art radiography facility may soon rise in Lagos.
We will, by the grace of God, set up a center, a radiography center in Lagos, where we will put new equipment, where we will run internships, where we will run research, and when we have this sort of events, we will have our own convention center, so that we can do good things and compete globally with such associations as they are abroad.
And I'm using this opportunity to call on the federal government of Nigeria and other governments and the private sector to invest in this aspect of medicine. They are absolutely important so that we can have better healthcare system and people cured of their diseases and get well for the betterment of our society.
A major highlight of the day is the formal induction of three prominent figures: Lagos State Governor and billionaire businessman Sir Oluokeowo as patrons, and former Minister of Foreign Affairs General Ikenwachuku as the Grand Patron of the association.
Let's toss to the nation's capital, Abuja, now, where Millicent Walker is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Over to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. We begin outside our shores, where Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived Johannesburg in South Africa, where he will be representing President Bola Tinubu at the G20 Leaders Summit, and he was received at the Waterkloof Air Force Base in Johannesburg. President Tinubu was earlier scheduled to be in South Africa on Wednesday, November 19, following an invitation from President Cyril Ramaphosa. However, the president cancelled his trip to receive security briefings following the abduction of schoolgirls in Kebbi and the attack on worshippers at Christ Apostolic Church in Kwara State. Well, Vice President Shettima will engage foreign leaders and development partners on issues relating to the economy, security, climate change, among others. During the summit, he will also hold bilateral meetings in furtherance of the Renewed Hope agenda. The G20 meeting, scheduled to hold from November 22nd to the 23rd at the Johannesburg Expo Center, will feature leaders from the world's top 20 economies, as well as representatives from the European Union, the African Union, and key financial institutions. The Vice President is expected back in Nigeria at the end of the engagement. Well, back home, former President Goodluck Jonathan is challenging graduating students of the Nile University to live up to the positive characters they have imbibed during their undergraduate years. The former president made the call when he delivered a keynote address at the convocation ceremony of the Nile University of Nigeria in Abuja. Our correspondent Delia Moyeni has more.
It's the 13th graduation ceremony of the Nile University of Nigeria, and parents, teachers and well-wishers converge at the convocation hall. The Vice-Chancellor charges the graduating students to be worthy ambassadors of the institution.
I thank God it has been a long time of mentorship, of training, of teaching. I believe you've acquired what it takes to be a graduate from Nile University. I also believe that over the years, you've also passed through the university when the university was passing through you.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan is conferred with a honorary degree. He has words of advice for the graduating students.
They will say those who are qualified by character and learning. Then he will remind you, character first, before the learning. And he will say that we're not going to give degrees to those who go and fight in the motor park. That means that when you pass through a university system, beside the qualification that you'll get, you should be filtered enough that you should know the difference between something that is good and something that is bad.
The two valedictorians, who both share a CGPA of 5.0, speak on the impact of the school on them.
The world we are entering requires problem solvers, creators, innovators who refuse to accept limitations. The world needs us.
So my fellow graduates, when life challenges you, I hope you remember to keep going, to trust the process and to trust the timing. Delay is not necessarily denial. Certainly, hard work does pay off.
The Vice-Chancellor says the school is committed to breaking new ground.
We promise and we assure Nigerians that we will not falter nor fall until Nigerians are well educated and equipped to develop this country economically, to implement policies of government in this country, and to be leaders that will define Africa for Africans, Nigeria for Nigerians, and lead with integrity.
The management of the institution is optimistic that the students have been prepared to face global challenges. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, CBN injects $15 million into foreign exchange market to stabilize the Naira amid rising dollar pressure. That's all business news. Please join us again. You're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Abuja studios. We head over to Delta State, where residents in Anyocha North local government area are benefiting from a major free medical outreach sponsored by the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited and Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company. The week-long program, known as Delta Vision First Plus, is offering comprehensive eye care and other health services at no cost.
The premises of the Seleoku Primary Healthcare Center is alive as residents troop out to access free medical services. The 5-day program, sponsored by NNPC and SNEPCO in collaboration with partners, provides a wide range of services: cardiovascular checks, laboratory tests, medical consultations, treatment for chronic and minor illnesses, pharmaceutical support, and comprehensive eye care. This ceremony creates an opportunity for enlightenment, interactions, and encouragement by the sponsors, partners, government, and the people.
Let me, on behalf of the government and the people of Anyocha North local government, in a special way, extend a warm welcome to our esteemed sponsors of this program and partners, the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation Limited and the Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, NAPCO.
I have gathered from reliable sources that we have over 60 professionals here attending to our people. And I have no doubt, I'm very confident that the caliber of professionals that will be associated with this multinational will be one of the best in this country.
While giving a rundown of statistics of beneficiaries, the group's representatives say the initiative aligns with the social investment commitments of NNPC, SNEPCO, and co-venture partners.
4,869 beneficiaries have received essential medication, and 667 people have undergone successful vision restoring procedures.
This project under SNEPCO is the 6th in our program of ensuring that ocular health is paramount among our CSR interventions.
Participants are screened for visual impairment, treated for various eye conditions, and provided with medicated glasses. They are grateful for the opportunity as well.
The surgery started yesterday. About 25 of us were operated open. And this morning, when the plaster was removed, I was able to see clearly.
Since its introduction, the Vision First Plus program has reached thousands across Nigeria with surgeries and life-saving medical interventions.
More company news. Renaissance Africa Energy is boosting Nigeria's crude output by more than 200,000 barrels per day and delivering about 1.9 billion standard cubic feet of gas to the domestic market. The company says its march towards a 500,000 barrel daily target by 2030 must be matched by strong ethics and full customs compliance across its supply chain. In Port Harcourt, the energy company is meeting with its partners and the Nigeria Customs Service to reinforce accuracy, transparency and responsibility in all import-related processes. Our correspondent Deborah Agbalama has more.
Renaissance Africa Energy Limited, formerly Shell Petroleum Development Company, continues to deepen engagements with key industry stakeholders since its takeover in March, as it reinforces its commitment to ethical standards and best practices. To this end, the company holds a one-day sensitization workshop with the theme, Enhancing Customs Compliance, Our Part to Play. The session brings together supply chain partners, customs officials, and regulators to strengthen understanding of processes that support Renaissance's production targets and its contributions to Nigeria's GDP through oil and gas exports.
In our journey in this partnership, we want to be with you, we want to go with you, and we want to grow with you. But if you are unethical, we will not go with you as our partners. Renaissance has indeed enjoyed such tremendous goodwill from all and sundry. So we've strived daily to help tell the Nigerian energy story, which has entered a new chapter.
Customs officials use the gathering to explain new and existing processes, including the Odogu Compliance Package, the Authorized Economic Operator Scheme, accurate declaration certificates of origin, and other requirements designed to reduce delays and eliminate penalties.
Collaboration, consultation, and innovation. In terms of innovation, we've seen the springing up of our Bodogu indigenous platform. Bodogu is for all of us. It has proven to be a seamless, similarized, and harmonized platform for customs operations.
We have
Speaking to Channels Television shortly after the session, senior managers from Renaissance explained the linkage between customs compliance and the company's broader operational targets, saying the workshop serves as a critical re-education for all partners in its supply chain.
We're still going to maintain the same level of ethical standard. So we had to call in our vendors today, along with our partners from our customs, to come and reinforce that message that we're an ethical company and we want to maintain compliance with all the government regulations.
We are working together to achieve the desire of the organization, which is to produce oil and everything that's associated with it. So we work together. They also deliberately get themselves involved in ensuring that the people that work for them, that is the CEOs of those supplier companies, make sure that they're actually complying with things.
For Renaissance, compliance is not just a regulatory requirement, but a reflection of its renewed identity and commitment to Nigeria's economic growth as it works towards expanding output in the coming years. Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
Well, that's it from the nation's capitals. Now back to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Millicent. In line with the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, the Department of State Services, the DSS, has moved the convicted leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to the Nigerian Custodial Center in Sokoto. A source within the service says that his movement follows his conviction and sentencing for terrorism. Delivering judgment on Thursday, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, had said the secret police should move Mr. Kanu to any correctional facility within the country, apart from the Kuje prison in Abuja. Justice Omotosho had convicted and sentenced Mr. Kanu to life imprisonment on 7-count charges of terrorism. The judge also upheld the allegations of the DSS that Mr. Kanu employed terrorism in his agitation, calling for the secession of the southeastern South states and some parts of Benue and Kogi from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigerians from all walks of life have been celebrating the exceptional life of renowned patriot and former governor of Ondo State, Chief Olabode George, as he attains the octogenarian age. The event was the launch of 2 books to commemorate his 80th birthday in Lagos, which was attended by prominent personalities including state governors, business technocrats, and military officers. The speakers extolled Chief George's unwavering commitment to nation building, his fearless advocacy for social justice, and his lifelong dedication to public service. In his address, Chief Bode George reflected on the book Unfiltered, a chronicle of selected speeches, and Bode George from cradle to the seas to the podium, describing the moment as a convergence of gratitude, legacy, and hope.
As I stand at this milestone, I am reminded that everything in life is transient. Power, wealth, titles, and applause. What endures is the legacy of the character of kindness and of service to others. As we celebrate today, and as we launch this book that captures some of the lessons and experiences of my journey, I hope it will inspire reflection, dialogue, and above all, understanding. Understanding of what it means to serve and to live with conviction.
Now let's delve into the world of business. Dominic Iwewu is standing by.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, in an effort to stabilize the Naira, the central bank has intervened in the forex markets with the sale of $50 million to authorized dealers. However, traders say the move was made on a willing buyer and seller basis, as demand for the US dollar for foreign payments has increased while the Naira has been under pressure. Before the latest intervention of analysts noted that the CBN had become less aggressive with FX sales as the Naira firmed some time in the year. The local currency has remained volatile this week, trading between 1,447 and 1,460 Naira against the dollar despite earlier signs of stability. Now, leading financial institution Zenith Bank has awarded a total of 140 million Naira to 10 emerging startups, including 30 million Naira to each to the top 2 winners of its flagship innovation challenge, Zecathon. The winners were announced at the 2025 Zenith Bank Tech Fair in Lagos, where the bank reiterated its commitment to empowering homegrown innovators and advancing a future in which Nigerian tech talents drive globally competitive solutions.
The Zenith Bank Tech Fair continues to draw thousands of young innovators and startups, and this year's edition once again meets expectations with an impressive turnout. Among the notable guests are the Governor of Lagos State, the bank's founder and chairman, Mr. Jim Ovia, senior management executives, and industry leaders.
Master Fire.
In her opening remarks, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Zenith Bank highlights the pace of global technological advancement and reaffirms the bank's commitment to supporting startups and entrepreneurs as they innovate, adapt, and accelerate toward a tech-driven future.
I encourage all startups, entrepreneurs, and youth tech talents to keep innovating and be passionate enough to bring forth bold ideas that will be tomorrow's breakthrough innovation. Zenith Bank is here to support you to turn those dreams into reality, because we understand the transformative power of technology.
This will connect with other businesses.
The fair features keynote presentations from industry leaders and tech trailblazers, along with fireside conversations exploring fintech evolution, banking transformation, artificial intelligence, and cross-border business expansion.
One of the most successful and the most important things, if you want to start a company, is to understand how do you innovate in zeros, because innovating in zeros is often the fundamental of success.
The key highlight of the event is the Zecathon. 5 finalists from the startup pitch competition present scalable solutions tackling real-world challenges, while another 5 finalists compete in the hackathon with cutting-edge fintech and digital products.
We are different because we care and we are present.
Winners in both categories receive 30 million naira each, while the remaining finalists in each group receive 10 million naira.
Congratulations again, Cubes.
Inspired by the fair's impact, the Lagos State Governor expresses the Lagos State Government's commitment to partnering with the private sector to expand opportunities for young innovators.
Africa is the only remaining continent that needs to be discovered, and the opportunities are enormous. All of the unicorns that have come out of Nigeria, they've all come out from Lagos. But we need to be able to double those numbers. And so, Oga Jim, we have to work harder, we have to work smarter, we have to ensure that we create the future for these people, because they are ready, they are innovative, they are creative, they are smart, and they want to take the space.
This year's fair also features an exhibition of cutting-edge tech solutions, innovation-driven companies, and masterclasses designed to help startups seeking investment and scale-up support. The event further provides valuable networking opportunities with senior executives, investors, and innovators.
Now, Friday's trading session at the domestic stock market ended the same way with the previous days this week, and that brings the NGX All-Share Index below the 144,000 points. Laddie Williams tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Wow, what a week it's been for major stock markets. Even gold wasn't left out in the market rout. But it's official for the local bourse, 5 days of consecutive losses following the sell-offs in the global markets. At this point, 0.27% down, losing the 144,000 level for the all-share index. And we see 0.27%, not so big, but if you add all of them together for this week, then it does come to a big figure there. All right, let's look at what played out with sectoral performance now. And yeah, there was a lot of volume and value that was up compared to the previous trades, showing that there's a lot of sell pressure today. 0.28% for banking to the good. That's a loan gainer for most of the sectors that we track. Oil and gas does a mild 8 basis points drop. Consumer goods 0.16% down. Then we see telecom giant MTN Nigeria, that showed about 1% today, helping to drag that all-share index down. Now it's 465 now for this TGIF trade today. So it's interest rate setting season. Inflation, that dropped again in October. Naira is relatively stable so far. That should make the job for the central bank MPC kind of easy. Maybe we'll get another cut next week.
Thank you, Laddie. Now let's find out how the global equities markets ended Friday's trading session. And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Let's join Simon Pizzi for more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
Бажаю здоров'я. Сьогодні у мене була зустріч з представниками Сполучених Штатів.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he won't betray his country as the US continues to push for a peace deal with Russia. In an address to the nation, the Ukrainian leader says that he is working constructively with the US on a proposal, but he warns Kyiv may face a choice between losing its key partner or its dignity. Russia has yet to receive anything official on the plan, according to the Kremlin. The US plan includes proposals that Kyiv had previously ruled out, such as ceding areas of the eastern Donetsk region that it still controls, reducing its army size, and pledging not to join NATO. South Africa has classified violence against women a national disaster following an online campaign culminating in a countrywide protest earlier. Women were urged to withdraw from the economy for one day and lie down for 15 minutes at midday local time in honor of the 15 females who were murdered in the country every single day. The state had refused to make the categorization but changed tack after evaluating the persistent and immediate life safety risks posed by ongoing acts of violence. South Africa experiences some of the world's highest levels of gender-based violence, with the rate at which women are killed 5 times higher than the global average.
It's important to have this day, I think, to demonstrate to the world how much femicide cases we have in South Africa. I think we've gone unnoticed for so long, and finally the country is standing together to really deal with the serious matter of women dying.
A pilot has died after an Indian fighter jet crashed while performing a display at an airshow in Dubai. The Indian Air Force said in a statement, "IAF deeply regrets the loss of life and stands firmly with the bereaved family in this time of grief." The jet crashed at about 2:10 p.m. local time, according to the Associated Press. All mention of fossil fuels, by far the largest contributor to climate change, has been dropped from the draft deal under negotiation at the COP30 UN climate talks in Belém. Draft agreements at the meeting of nearly 200 countries usually go through multiple revisions, as all parties must agree in order for a deal to pass. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and some countries, including the UK, wants the summit to commit countries to stronger, faster action to reduce their use of fossil fuels.
Colleagues, friends, the political text released is simply unacceptable. It is not a serious basis for negotiations. It fails the Amazon, it fails science, it fails justice, and it fails the people we are here to represent. It simply cannot be legitimized. There is no mention of fossil fuels phased out, or phased down, or deforestation. Nothing.
Relentless rains and floods have killed at least 41 people in central Vietnam since the weekend, while a search continues for 9 who are still missing. The deluge has submerged more than 52,000 homes and left 500,000 households and businesses without power, according to reports. Tens of thousands of residents have been evacuated from the flood-affected regions. Rainfall has exceeded 1.5 meters in several areas over the past 3 days, even rising beyond the 1993 flood peak of 5.2 meters in some parts. A grizzly bear is on the loose after attacking a school group in Canada, leaving 11 people injured, 2 critically. The incident happened on a walking trail in the town of Bella Coola in the province of British Columbia. Residents have been warned to remain indoors while armed officers try to track down the animal. And the highest mountain on Indonesia's Java Island, a volcano called Mount Semeru, has erupted, spewing gigantic columns of ash clouds as tall as 2 kilometers above its peak. Large plumes of smoke could be seen engulfing a bridge and spreading across the surrounding countryside, stopping locals in their tracks. A fast-moving avalanche of hot gas, ash and volcanic rock billowing from the mountain came to a distance of 7 kilometers from the summit. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. The Final Four of the 2025 MBBF Nigeria Premier League season has kicked off in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, as Lagos legends, Nigeria Customs, defending champions, Rivers Hoopers, and Boko City Chiefs are battling for the sole ticket to represent Nigeria at the 2027 Basketball Africa League. Now in Game 1, played This evening, Lagos Legends beat Nigeria Customs 93-75 to maintain their impressive run in the league. On the other game for today, Rivers Hoopers beat Boko City Chiefs 66-61. And now to football, Nigeria's last team standing in the CAF Champions League, Rivers United will begin their campaign in the group phase of the competition against the title holders Pyramids FC of Egypt on Saturday evening in Cairo. Now, the Port Harcourt side have shown improved attacking skill in the MPFL and are currently seated third on the league table with 23 points from 13 games. Pyramids, who clinched the Club of the Year award at the 2025 CAF Awards on Wednesday, are fourth in the Egypt Premier League with 20 points from 9 league games. Now to English Premier League football, where Arne Slot says Liverpool will never use their grief over the death of Diogo Jota as an excuse for the bad results as he seeks to arrest a shocking run of 5 defeats in 6 Premier League games. The defending champions, who host Nottingham Forest on Saturday, started the season with 7 straight wins in all competitions, but are now 8 games behind Premier League leaders Arsenal after their dramatic slump. And that's it on sports news. It's back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Olumide. And the main news again. Gunmen have abducted an unspecified number of students during a raid on a private school in Papiri in Niger State. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawada. Good night and have a restful weekend.